Hello and welcome to or back to my channel. My name is Emily. I also go as MCat online, and today we need to do a June reading wrap up and July TBR. So in the month of June, I read 20 books. 14 of those were books that I own physically. I have all of these. These are the ones that I will be keeping. So I have the rest of the Red Queen series, a Nancy Drew novel, Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher, Wreck by Catherine Newman, and Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. Those are all ones that I really loved and want to keep. And then I have these, which will not be staying, unfortunately. Most of them were just okay. I only really disliked Audition by Katie Kitamura, and I think that was primarily because I wasn't smart enough to understand what I was supposed to get out of the book. You can see reviews for all of these except for Sounds Like Love in vlogs that I have coming out soon. Sounds Like Love was okay, but it just didn't work for me the same way that The 7 Year Slip did. This is about two people who are in the music world. One of them is a songwriter, one of them is, I think he's a singer and a songwriter. And they end up kissing at the beginning of the book, and it gives them a telepathic connection or something. And they're in each other's head for the rest of the book. And it just didn't really work for me. One of the things that I really didn't like about it was the nicknames that her family used for her. They just rubbed me the wrong way. I really hated them. And the romance in this one just didn't work for me either. So that's why I'm getting rid of that one. The rest of them, you can see why I'm getting rid of them in the videos that they're featured in. In the month of June, I also hauled 4 books. 2 of these books were free. So I found this copy of I'm Glad My Mom Died in a little free library while I was dropping books off. And then just for the summer, I got a free copy from the library from my book club. We read this for June. I really liked it. I think it was my favorite of the trilogy. And then Sublimation was my aardvark pick. I am excited for it, but I did see Books and Lala's review about it, and it makes me a little bit nervous. She didn't love it. She thinks it would have been better as a short story. So we'll see if I agree with that or not. And then this was the June Owlgrave book, Strange Familiars by Keisha Chow. Kesh Chow. I'm not sure how you pronounce that person's first name. This is a very pretty edition. The back. I don't know much about the plot of this book, but it was a plot that I liked enough to not skip. So hopefully it's good. And then I really, really like the Naked hardcover. It's covered in it's not just cats. It's cats and then some mythical creatures, maybe a lizard. And then the back of the dust jacket looks like this. I kind of like this better than the one it came with, facing out. Anyways, I only paid for 2 of these books. The rest of them came to me for free. And this does change our numbers a little bit. So for June, I am ending the month owning 758 total books. That is down 1 from 759 in May, and I am up to 367 total books read, which is up 9 from 358 in May, and that brings our read percentage to 48.4%. We're only a 0.5% away from halfway read. I think if I can keep up the momentum that I had in June and read at least half the number of books that I read in June, in July, we will be at 50%, and that will be incredible to see. We are under 400 total in read now. We are at 391, which means that I need to read 66 total books throughout the rest of the year without adding more if I want to be below 325, which is my overall goal. By far, the largest genres that I read in June were fantasy, romance, and contemporary. I think that contemporary is probably with the romance as well, because almost all of the romance that I read this month was also a contemporary. So that tracks. I would like my horror to be up. I only read 2 horror in June, so hopefully throughout the rest of the year I can up that number quite a bit. But before we flip around, I want to talk to you about my TBR for the month, because I am just going to pick books this month. I'm not going to play any games or do a readathon to pick things. So first up, I have a stack of Owl Crate books. I am about to start filming this video, so hopefully you'll see that one soon too. Those are the 3 that I'm planning to read for that. It could change, but I don't think it will. And then with another video that I just started filming, it's called Decluttering Diaries. I'm working on getting things out of my house. I rolled for my first weekly task to take something out of my self-destructing books pile. I'm going to try this one. I might not finish it. We'll see how it goes, but I am going to try reading this one for that challenge. Then I have Bill Nye's, I think, autobiography. Unclear. I do not know if this is a biography or not, but this is by Bill Nye. I've had the audiobook for it out from the library for a while, and I want to get to it sooner rather than later. This is on my 26 and 26 stack, so I would like to get this knocked out. Then I am in the middle of Acceptance right now. I just started it yesterday. This is the 3rd book in the Annihilation series from Jeff Vandermeer, and I have one more after this to finish the series. And one of my big goals this year is to finish more series than I start, so I'm working towards that with this one. Hopefully I will also get to Absolution, but I felt like that was a bit of a stretch, so we're not going to put that on ourselves this month. And then I read and really loved Ship Magic last month, so we are continuing on with the Mad Ship by Robin Hobb. I am also reading this for Stephanie Bookish, or Fall Into Steph, not Stephanie Bookish, she changed her name. Fall Into Steph's Hobb Sob Along Summer Readathon, and we don't have to have this series finished until the end of August, so I'm hoping to read this one at least in July, and potentially the last one in the trilogy. We'll have to wait and see. These are very chunky books. They're like 40-hour long audiobooks, so I don't know if I'll get to both or not. Next up, I would also like to try out Siren Queen. This author supposedly has a book coming in one of the book boxes I'm subscribed to in August or September. I can't remember which month, but I want to try this one out. I want to try this one out to see if I like the author's writing or not, and decide if I'm skipping that book. And then the last one from my physical shelves is a reread. I am planning to reread Ninth House. A friend of mine, Jenny, I think their username is JYT Creative here on YouTube. I'll tag her down below. But she asked for my thoughts on this because the 3rd one's coming out and she was trying to decide if she should just skip it or read the whole thing. So I'm rereading it so that I can give her a very in-depth review and tell her about the things that could be triggering. So this will be a reread. I may or may not reread Hellbent. I don't think the 3rd one comes out until September, so I have a little bit of time to decide if I want to reread both or just Ninth House. But yeah. And then I do have some ebooks that I'm hoping to get to as well. I will pop up their covers here if I remember. The first one will be not ebooks. This one is an audiobook. So I have audiobooks and ebooks. Can I talk? So I want to listen to How to Tell When We Will Die. I don't know the author, but that is an audiobook about disabilities and living with disabilities. And if you don't know, July is Disability Pride Month, so I would like to get to this one. I also have a friend who wants to know my thoughts on that. Then I have 2 e-arcs that I've gotten from NetGalley. I have a lot more than 2 right now, but these are the 2 that I definitely want to try and get to in July. First one is Dead But Dreaming of Electric Sheep by Paul Tremblay. I'm pretty sure this one is already out, so I missed the boat on that, but I would like to read it so I can decide if I want a physical copy for my shelves or not. And then the second one is Hot Girl Murder Club by Ashley Winstead. Ashley Winstead is one of my favorite authors ever. So I'm very happy to have this arc. It also comes out in July, so I'm hoping to read it and review it before it comes out. And then I have Lore by, I think her name is Alexandra Bracken. This author also has a book that's supposed to be in one of the book boxes I have, so I want to test out the writing and decide if I'm skipping or not. And the last thing that I am hoping to read in July is Monsoon Rising. This is a buddy read with my mom. I did get approved for the arc of the third one in the series. I'm not sure how, but I'm very excited. So I want to read Monsoon Rising so that I can move on and read that arc as well. Right, that is everything I need to tell you from this side. So we're going to flip around and update my reading journal for the month. All right, here is my reading journal. Before we start updating things here, I actually have a couple of things to update in my 2025 section. Here, a book or two, I think. I think I have 2 books here that I need to give you my ratings for. I read Margot's Got Money Troubles. That was, I can't remember for sure what I rated it, but I'm feeling like a 2.5 right now. It was okay. It wasn't my favorite. You can go watch my literary fiction vlog that's already out if you would like to know my in-depth thoughts about it. I liked the concept. I just didn't love the execution, I think is the best way to put it. And then I did unhaul this book. I actually unhauled the entire series, so we are just going to cross that out and mark it as a DNF. And then I think that's actually the only thing I needed to update you on there. For this one, our reading goals, don't think I'm at the point where I've finished more series than I've started right now, but we're working on it. I am well on my way to 325 owned unread by the end of the year. I am back on my low buy, following the rules as best as I can. I have finished my Audible library and I am working on my Kindle library right now. I did end up spending the $300 that I saved for a Books Palma on an espresso machine instead. So I don't have a route currently to get rid of my Kindle completely, but we are working on it. And then selling 100 books, I have hit. I finished this goal. So I am currently at 113 books sold for the year. I'm not going to change this goal. I'm just going to mark it off and count it as complete. But I am going to put it out into the universe that I would like to double this goal by the end of the year, if at all possible. I currently have like 360-ish books listed on my Pango. I'm about to have 6 more. So I want that number to be under 300 by the end of the year, at the very least. Because I think my shop is a little overwhelming for people. I do try to put things into shelves, and there are lots of new ways to search and search within people's shops on Pango that I don't think everyone realizes that they can do. So I am going to put a lot more effort into my Pango shop in the coming months to try and get that number under 300. For my book of the month books, I did make a little bit of progress. Margot's Got Money Troubles was a book of the month book, so I'm down 1. I am about to wrap up reading my Owl Crate books. I think I have like 6 left total, maybe a little bit more. And once I'm done with that, I am going to focus in on the book of the month stack that I have back there. I want to do like a spinner wheel thing. I think I mentioned that when I first showed you my journal for this year. So I'm going to work on that in the coming months. And I am getting close to being up to date on all of my special edition boxes. I currently have, I think we are under 15 total special editions left to read. That doesn't include anything that I get throughout the rest of the year. So that number will be a moving target, but we are working on that quite a bit. Reducing my stacks by half. I am not anywhere near half yet, but I am down to 99 books in the stacks currently. So that's really good. And then I need to update my spreadsheet before I can give you any kind of information on this last goal. I haven't been good about that. Here, I think I read a couple of things. I read Ship of Magic. And then I'm still waiting for my copy of the Tapestry of Fate to come in. Fairy Loot is taking forever to ship that, and I'm really upset about it because my friend at work that I reread the first book with earlier this year has already finished. She got the audiobook of it and has already finished it. But Ship of Magic was very good. I enjoyed this a lot more than the Fist and the Fool trilogy. The first one, like Assassin's Apprentice, the one that starts with that book, I enjoyed Ship of Magic a lot more. I like the characters more. There is somebody that I hate a lot more than the person that I hate in the Fist and the Fool trilogy, but it is what it is. I had a great time. It didn't really feel like 880 pages, so hopefully the rest of the trilogy keeps going that way. Moving on, I have 3 books here to mark, I think. Sounds Like Love was, like I said, not very good. It wasn't my fave. I think I gave it like 2.75 or 3 stars. Hemlock and Silver was pretty solid. I liked it a lot more than the last couple of retellings that I've read from T. Kingfisher. I gave it 4 stars. You can watch my upcoming Owl Crate vlog if you want to know how I feel about that one. And then Wreck was also 4 stars. I talked about this one in my literary fiction blog that's already up if you would like to see more complete thoughts on it. Overall, I didn't enjoy this as much as I enjoyed Sandwich, but it was still pretty good. For the horror curriculum, I do have something to put in. I read, what was it called? We Call Them Witches by India Rose Bauer. Oh. Never mind, I don't have anything to put in here because I was going to put it in queer. Disregard that. I did not see that I had written Manhunt there. I was going to put in We Call Them Witches by India Rose Bauer, but I have already covered that one. So, that's great. I was really excited to have something to put here, and now I don't. So this is going to be a priority for the last half of the year. I think September and October, I'll probably hit a lot of these. So I'm not that worried about it. Moving on to our fantasy, I have 1 book to count, and that is Ship of Magic for spot 25. I unfortunately can't count it for hard mode because she is a seafaring pirate. I'm getting close to a bingo. I need 2 more spots on multiple lines. So hopefully I get one of those soon. And then this lifestyle bingo, I can mark something off. I can mark off this one, selling 100 books. I might be close to finishing 10 series, but the other things I don't think I can cross off yet. By the end of this month, I will be able to cross off this square because I am doing a long-term dog and house sitting job for the entire month of July. And the total amount of money that I will get paid for that is over $1,000. So that alone will mark that off. But I think I calculated it, I've made it like $400 so far off of Pango this year. And then I've done other dog and house sitting jobs throughout the year, so I'm probably sitting close to like $600 or $700 right now. And then I am working on my crafts. Don't have anything else to say about this. So the ticket to buy, I said last month that we were just going to disregard everything that happened from April and May and pick it back up in June. So I read 14 of my own books, so I need to put some stickers in. I am 1 book short for how many I obtained this month. I was saying, I am one short for the books that I obtained in July. So I obtained 4. One of them was one I've already read and I got it for free. So we're not counting that towards this. And I read 14 and I got 3 books. So I need one more to even that out. I still need to go through here and put in the book covers, but I haven't had time to do that. So we will move on. For my series, I made a little bit of progress in Witch Hat Atelier. I got up to volume 12 and I almost finished volume 13, but the library took it back. I'm hoping to finish this month. I am hoping to finish it this month. I think there are 16 volumes and I can't get 15 and 16 from the library. So my husband found a place online that I can read them. So I will be finishing the series there instead of waiting a month for the library to give me the books back. So it is what it is. I finished the Red Queen series and the Part of Your World series. So those are 2 that I can mark off. Finished is the last square. These, I think I need to mark this square for everything because I started it in 2026. I'm not really sure why I put that square there. It's not very helpful for me since I put them in different colors, but it's whatever. I did start some series. So I started the Live Ship Traders. Need a different thickness of pen. 8. This has 3 books. And I've read the first one. I am hoping to finish this, like I said earlier on, by the end of August. So hopefully this one will get to be marked off too. Next up, I did start the Nancy Drew series, but I'm not going to count it in here because I don't own all of them and it's like 100 books or something. So I'm just going to read them as I go along. And then I started the Say You'll Remember Me series. Currently there are 2. I owned Say You'll Remember Me. I'm unhauling that copy because I don't like the edition that I have, not because I don't like the book. But currently there are only 2. I don't know if a 3rd one has been announced, but I assume it will have 3 books. Yes, it has a 3rd book coming out in 2027 called Feels Like Falling. So I currently have The Night We Met on hold from the library, and once that comes in, I will read it and be caught up, so I can mark that off as well. I also started Persepolis. The author of this series recently died, unfortunately. I read the first one, and I currently have book 2 sitting downstairs from the library. And it looks like there are only 2 in the series, so once I read the second one, that will also be considered finished. I liked Persepolis. I do think the ending was quite abrupt, and it left us with not a lot of closure, which maybe was the point because I don't think the character got a lot of closure. Persepolis is a graphic novel about a girl who was growing up in Iran in the 80s during a lot of the revolutions and wars that were happening, and at the end of the book, this is a spoiler, so move along, fast forward like 10 seconds if you don't want to know this, but at the end of the book, her parents end up sending her to Switzerland to live with an aunt, and that's how it ends. And I'm hoping that book 2 will give me some kind of closure. I don't know if it will or not, but I plan to read it this weekend, so I should know soon. And then this is saying, it doesn't say, sorry if you hear the sirens. I finished another series, but I don't have it in here as a series. It was Sandwich and Wreck. I think there's only going to be 2, but they're calling it the Rocky series. Yeah, it currently only shows 2 books in it, so I have technically finished it. I don't know if more are coming or if this is it. I have to grab... Sorry for the jostling. I needed to grab my purple marker to mark it as a book that I read not in 2026. It looks like everything else I read I've already talked about, so we can move on. That is 3 series completed in June. That's great. Moving right along to that 10. And then for your cozy, the word for the year is, or for July is celebration. And somebody else in Steph's Patreon said that they were going to celebrate themselves, so that's what I want to do too. And for me, that means sticking to my health and fitness goals. I have been training for a 5K and it's going really well, so I want to keep that up. I also want to keep going to the gym and doing strength training 3 to 4 times a week, if at all possible. And then roller skating is something else I want to do. I want to go at least twice a month, hopefully more. So myself encompasses all of those things. And then I want to play more video games because that is something I have been neglecting, but it is something that brings me a lot of joy. And then I also know that thrillers and mysteries bring me a lot of joy, so I want to read at least 1 this month. I don't have a specific one. I do have that Leanne Moriarty book in my TBR, so that might be what we read. We are going to skip this page because I already made my TBR, but here I have something to mark. I decided to go with, I think, evil. Yes, I'm going to make my character evil. And that was an item you dislike on the cover. Hemlock and Silver has a snake on it. I don't like snakes, so that's what we're counting for. And then for the map of stories, I did not do an AI or robot or alien character this month, but I'm positive that I will read something by the end of the year that has that, so I'm not worried about it. For the celestial body on the cover, I'm counting Water Moon. Water Moon has a great big moon on the front of it. And then for booktuber recommendation, I am counting Ship of Magic because Stephanie recommended it to us with her read-along. Now we are at Herkyed. I think I have quite a few boxes to mark off. So I can mark off the 24-hour challenge. I don't have a spread for it in here somewhere. I finished Warstorm, so I'm going to count it for the 24-hour reading challenge. I started and finished Persepolis and Say You'll Remember Me, and then I also finished The Secret of the Old Clock. So that's what I'm counting for the 24-hour readathon. The way I did it was just setting a timer and over the course of 4 days timing every time that I read. So it's not like a traditional 24-hour reading challenge, but that's how I wanted to do it. For the alphabet challenge, I have 4 books to put in. I am using Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez for J. And then The Secret of the Old Clock for O. And then Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb for R. And for why, I'm counting Water Moon because the author's last name is Yambo. Or Yambao. I'm not sure how to say her last name. Then for the blurb challenge, I haven't quite done that yet. I was hoping to do it in the 24-hour reading challenge, but it just didn't work out. So that might be something I try to focus on in July. Then I can finish the last 12 years, finally. King's Cage by Victoria Aveyard was released in 2017. So let's go mark that off. Then I haven't made progress in either of these series yet. I'm working on the quartet right now. The animal challenge is complete. For both of these, Around the World and the Queer Rainbow, I don't have anything from this month to put in. The things that I've been reading that I could put in are things that I've already marked off. So I'll have to work on that in the last half of the year. But then for Heritage Months, I did finally read something that I could count for Arab Heritage Month. I am really upset that I didn't get to it in the month it was in, but I messed up. That's on me. So I did Persepolis for the Arab Heritage Month, and then I'm counting The Salt Grows Heavy for Pride Month. I did like The Salt Grows Heavy. This is by Cassandra Kaw. They wrote The Library at Hellbore. I also liked The Library at Hellbore, but think that I would benefit from reading this author physically in the future. So I will stop putting her audiobooks on hold and start reading them physically instead. The Salt Grows Heavy was a novella, a horror novella, and I think I understood what happened, but I'm not positive, so I'm not going to talk about it. And it is what it is. Sorry about that. I think if you like horror, you should give it a try, especially if you like queer horror. But there is a lot of body horror specifically in it, so be aware of that before you pick it up. For disability rep, I did read some stuff with disability in it, but again, it was mostly anxiety, and I recently learned that you cannot count books that have the same disability rep that you've already counted, so I need to read things that don't have anxiety and ADHD represented in them. And then I don't think I read anything that was translated this month, so we'll move along. For new releases, I didn't get anything for this. I messed up again. And I have a June release on my July TBR, so I will mark that and hopefully July off next month. And then Victoria Aveyard came through again with War Storm. War Storm was in the 600 pages range, so I can count that there. And then nonfiction, I don't have anything yet, but I should have something in July. But we can go back to my board and mark off the by the hundreds square. There it is. I have one to mark off in the adaptation square. I read Margot's Got Money Troubles. It has been turned into a TV show. I did watch the first episode of the TV show, but I haven't moved on yet. And then for creatures, I'm counting Water Moon. I am unclear what the official word for the main character in Water Moon is. They are otherworldly. They look like humans, but they're closer to being a god. So yeah, it's kind of unclear to me what they are, but I'm going to count them here. So that is it for Herkyed. Then we have my final spread. I read, or I guess I hauled 4 books. I'm unhauling I'm unhauling 6. I read 20, which totaled 6,834 pages. And then I sold 21 books, which totaled out to $46.18. As I've said before, I help a friend sell her books, and I only take half of the profit from those, and that is the vast majority of my shop. So this number doesn't always make sense with the number of books that I'm selling, but it is what it is. For my best book, that's hard. I think the one that I enjoyed the most would probably have to be Ship of Magic. That was like a big surprise to me. Or Say You'll Remember Me. I think I'm gonna go with Ship of Magic because I have. And then my worst book was probably Audition. It just didn't work for me. I don't think it's objectively a bad book, but it was not the book for me. So that is it. I am very happy with where I'm sitting with all of my goals, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.